Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. And be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. The Saints were very interested in Jadeveon Clowney a year ago. Obviously, New Orleans, you had Cam Jordan, and the thought was, remember, a year ago, the Saints were all in. They very likely knew it was going to be Drew Brees' last year in New Orleans, and they were all in, man. They were trying to build up a roster in win-now mode and thought this could be the complement, as Marcus Davenport hadn't emerged the way that they had hoped, that Clowney could be that guy at an affordable price. Now, if you remember, he ended up signing a one-year deal with Tennessee, and it was like $14 million, something like that. And what's clear, and I'll tell you, I knew a lot about that situation, mainly because the Saints were interested. So I was very much following that and all the conversations with a lot of different parties involved, and because it was going to be really interesting if he ended up in New Orleans, which is something I think a lot of us wanted at the time, not knowing outside looking in all of the goings-on there. And then you look at this year, of course, Hendrickson has the blow-up year. He's gone in free agency. Saints need an edge rusher opposite Cam Jordan. If Clowney has a one-year deal with Tennessee where he played 8 games and did not have a sack. I mean, Mickey Loomis was offering less than that a year ago. Obviously, he took a better deal in Tennessee for more money. Why not go kick the tires on something that might be affordable? Well, we find out today that, or yesterday we found out that Clowney signed with the Cleveland Browns. What's so interesting about this, if you remember, we talked about this a year ago. Bus Cook, who is Clowney's now former agent, had Jadeveon Clowney a deal that was a 3-year contract for $57 million with $31 million guaranteed. Those are the terms. With the Cleveland Browns. So Clowney had on the table an offer from Cleveland. 3 years, $57 million, $31 million guaranteed. Obviously, that was way more than the Saints were going to be willing to spend, but he turned down the offer. Clowney thought he could get more. Well, he couldn't get more. It turns out his agent kind of knew what he was doing. And so Clowney ends up signing the one-year deal with Tennessee, and Clowney fired Bus Cook. Now, I want to remind you, okay, Bus Cook is one of the quote-unquote super agents. Bus Cook is the guy that got Myles Garrett $125 million. Bus Cook is the guy that made Calvin Johnson a $100 million receiver. Bus Cook is the guy who maybe you most recognize his name because he was Brett Favre's agent forever. Bus Cook just got Cam Newton a $14 million contract in New England. Let me say that again. Cam Newton, who was just on a one-year prove-it deal in New England, who didn't prove it, got more money to go back there on another one-year deal. Like, Clowney fired Bus Cook. Well, what was so interesting to me is Clowney has his introductory press conference in Cleveland yesterday, and some of the tweets from the Cleveland reporters were quotes of Clowney taking a shot at Cook again, which is, this dynamic is really weird to me. Keith Britton, who's a verified Twitter account from works up in Cleveland, tweeted, Clowney on coming to Cleveland after turning down the proposed deal a year ago. Again, the deal I just told you about. Quote, I got a new agent and he was more open to coming here. Again, shot across the bow from Clowney at Bus Cook. Remember, Bus Cook got Jadeveon Clowney a 3-year, $57 million contract that he turned down and then fired him. Then there was this from Tom Withers of the Associated Press in that same press conference. Clowney said his former agent, Cook, didn't let him visit the Browns last year. Y'all, last year, during free agency, we were in the middle of the COVID shutdown. Nobody made visits anywhere. Clowney didn't visit the Saints, and they made an offer to him. Clowney didn't visit anywhere because nobody visited anywhere in free agency. It is so mind-boggling to me that this guy had a 3-year, $57 million contract on the table. He passed on it, fires the guy who got him that contract because he thought he could get more, doesn't get more, ends up having a crap season where he had played 8 games, had no sacks, ends up signing with the team who offered him the giant contract, and this deal is a 1-year deal worth $8 million in incentives that could get him to 10. Basically, Jadeveon Clowney, in passing on the deal that Bus Cook got him last year, cost himself $20 million in guaranteed money. Let me say that again. Clowney cost himself $20 million in guaranteed money. And now he's crapping on his former agent, who, by the way, is one of the best agents the sport has ever seen. Part of me looks at this and I say, from the Saints' perspective, yes, you obviously dodged a bullet. Clowney, just from a production standpoint, he's a guy that has never really lived up to the number 1 overall pick status, right? He only played 4 games as a rookie. He didn't play a full 16-game season until his 4th year in the NFL. He had back-to-back 9-sack seasons in Houston. Then he goes to Seattle, can't get along there, doesn't perform. The mess last year in Tennessee. He says he's healthy and maybe he'll perform and maybe he'll be good opposite Myles Garrett, who, by the way, whose agent is Bus Cook, who got him $125 million. Maybe Clowney will do fine opposite Myles Garrett, but really, from a Saints standpoint, had you signed Clowney last year, had he taken your deal, you never see Trey Hendrickson have 13.5 sacks. He never has that explosive year. So in some respects, that decision, Clowney's decision, really benefited Trey Hendrickson the most. And my sincere hope for New Orleans this year is in seeing Trey Hendrickson have the kind of complimentary season he did to Cam Jordan, or opposite Cam Jordan, maybe Marcus Davenport, or maybe it's Carl Granderson this year. Mike Dees talks a ton about Carl Granderson. Maybe that's the guy that can take the step up this year. And I'm not telling you they're going to have 13.5 sacks and be second in the league, but could it be a guy that has 8-9 sacks, complementing Cam Jordan on the other side, that provides that formidable 1-2 punch for New Orleans on the edge? That's my hope. Man, if Mickey, and the thing we know so much about Loomis and Peyton during their time in New Orleans is how much they value the culture they've built. I think that's undeniable at this point. Sean just did a gut renovation of the culture when he first got here in 2006. Then he did it again after the back-to-back 7-9 seasons. And they've been very leery about bringing in guys that would be problem issues in the locker room. They want good locker room guys. I think both on a financial and a culture front, avoiding Jadeveon Clowney last year might have been one of the best things that ever happened to the Saints. Let's hope one of these other guys can step up this year. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.